Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
You made the decision to come out on your own, but did Morane ask you to, or did you assume the position inside of personal moral obligation? What and when was the epiphany that set your ego free to accept the task? I ask because there are thousands who have had contact, but possibly some have become disgusted by the ego, keeping their story to themselves in the name of self-preservation, despite the detriment to society. Perhaps your answer can help to inspire any one of them.
I grew up the oldest of 11. It was a yours, mine, and ours. But everybody was great. Everybody was awesome. And I fell in love with a woman who had a child. That I came to adore. And I had known about the kids. For example, back in 90, 93, 92, when I first started talking in a living room, I talked a little bit about the kids, and there was great repulsion. Nobody wanted to hear it. And that back in 94, when I did that infamous video, I talked about in Westchester County about how in 1 year 5,000 children disappeared. I knew I went to high school with children who lost younger siblings, who vanished without a trace. So I knew it was real because I grew up in Westchester County. So I knew it was real. And when I was mature enough to hear what was going on, Morane, at Visaeus's direction specifically, began to share that information with me. And after months of just disbelief and just not being able to understand how someone could do this, especially those who had their own children could do this to other kids. When I realized just how fucked up this really was, and I apologize for the cursing, but It's the only thing that accurately describes this. When I realized that these people were very different from the rest of us, I was compelled to have to say something. Because they're kids. Because they're kids. And when you lose a child like this and you have no idea what's happened to them, that trail of tears lasts a lifetime. And that's what it is. It's a trail of tears. As a parent, as a sibling, you never get over it. Ever, until you cross over into spirit. And then you gain perspective and maybe you even meet your younger sibling there in spirit. And then you can put things in perspective. I also knew intuitively as a kid that if this was happening, I didn't realize how embedded all of this was at the time. I had to grow into that information emotionally so I would know how to deal with it. I still get quite angry about it though. That there would never be a future for humanity. Ever. At some point, humanity would completely collapse because you no longer value life. And this was before Mornay and Visayas had told me about the concept of abortion. How any civilization that has done this for approximately 120 years, and that's in our linear time, it would be different for another race in another dimension. But for us, if we continue to do this for 120 years, our civilization would cease to exist. It would implode itself. It would literally destroy itself because there would be absolutely no value to life. And I don't want that to happen. Who would want that to happen? There are so many remarkable people on this planet, remarkable souls, beings, creativity off the charts. There are so many things we can do that no other race can do. I just wasn't going to let that happen without opening my big mouth. I have regrets about decisions that I've made in the past. Talking about this and about the kids is not one that I regret at all. I would do that again in a heartbeat. And when you have your own, it really sinks in because you realize how precious they are. Even when they're being assassins of joy, you still realize how precious they are. So it's I'm really looking forward to the jump into Forest because there's a healing. There will be a healing amongst our race and amongst all the souls that have been here in the past, who are here now, and that are coming in the future. There will be a healing. And I look forward to that, whether I'm on this side or the other side. I really genuinely look forward to that.
You mentioned I knew this was going to come up. You mentioned 73% is awake, if I understood well. If that's
Yes.
the case, you would think the 100th monkey effect would wake up the sleeping crowd by now. Can you explain more what you meant with that?
That's just what I was told, that 73% of the planet's population is in fact away. It's not nearly as dire as we think. And again, I want to just share with you that the the matrix, the media matrix, is fully invested in making sure we don't discover what's going on. Because as soon as we do and we change our perspective, it's over for them. All their power, everything just goes away. It disintegrates because it's all consciousness. It's all consciousness, and that which we create is based on our own perspectives and our intent. The more we see the contrast, the more we know what we don't want. And it's a shit show. And somebody sent me a hat, and I don't know who you are. So if you could send me an email and let me know that it was you. Somebody sent me a hat, and it says on it, supervisor of the shit show. And they also sent a dog tag for Merlin that said Merlin, manager of the supervisor. And that was very close to true. So thank you for that. But that's what it is. The more we see the contrast, the more we become more and more clear about what we don't want. And the more clear we are on that, the more we focus our attention on what we do want. And individually, you have to know what it is you want. You have to make those decisions. You have to make those choices. And then you have to focus your intention on going after that and creating that and manifesting it in your life. And what's interesting is that it appears that many of us are very, very similar in what it is that we want. But again, all of that creation, all of that intent comes from within. That's where the power, the genuine power on this planet resides, is within us. They don't have it. That's just an illusion. And the only reason that illusion has any power is because we gave our power away to these structures, to the media, to other organizations who have spent hundreds and hundreds of years convincing us that we're powerless, that they're the authority and they're the ones in control. Well, it's obvious that they're not. It's obvious they're not. Even with the off-worlders, the regressive off-worlders, the minute we change our focus, we change our frequency. And the higher the frequency goes, the less power they have. And at some point, they have to leave voluntarily because they cannot exist in a high frequency bandwidth, which is where we're going. And I want to remind all of you that the ultimate goal here is the awakening of humanity. And the end result of all of this that we're in the middle of is the awakening of humanity. It's a done deal, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even a question. It happens. It's there. We are moving towards it. No matter what they do, the end result is the awakening of humanity into fourth and fifth density consciousness. We're on a ride to that ultimate goal, to that conclusion. So we're on this ride, and these powers that be, they're falling away because they don't have any power anymore. And the more contrast we see, the more power we withdraw from them and we empower ourselves, and the quicker we get there. So that was, I guess, a pretty long answer. But that's exactly how I see it. And, and I know that there are people out there that are stuck in a perspective, but it's their perspective. Okay. It doesn't have to be yours, and it doesn't need to be yours, and it shouldn't be yours. Do you know what you want? As long as you do, then we're going in that direction. That's where we're heading.
Hi, Alex. You mentioned in the past that many benevolent ETs traveled back in time to right a terrible wrong. Can you identify the event they're referring to, or was it a series of events?
It's a series of events, and it's literally right in front of us. It's literally right in front of us. You see, the component is us as a humanity. That's the biggest component. It's always been the biggest component. The largest collection of consciousness is humanity itself. When humanity is self-empowered, humanity takes responsibility for that which it creates. And it takes control and owns what it creates. When humanity is disempowered and does not believe in itself, then others control and manipulate and tell humanity what to create. That only benefits a small group. It would be the equivalent of putting a ring in all of our noses and then attaching the leash. They've been trying to generating all this fear and tearing down the global economies and creating food shortages. They're doing everything they can to get that ring in our nose. But humanity is resisting. Hoorah! Humanity is resisting that. And America damn sure is. So no ring, no leash. It doesn't go the way they want. And what's happening is humanity is really waking up and rising to the occasion. It is. We have to be clear about where we're at and understand where we're at. When the dark side completely comes down, there's going to be a vacuum. We have to fill that. Humanity, our consciousness has to fill that void, that space. We have got to claim this planet as our own, and humanity as our tribe, as a race. We have got to take care of each other and defend each other. No more wars. It's all bullshit. Okay, that's how they've been dividing us. We've been killing each other off so they could take control. Christ, it's insane. We're going to have to address the abortion issue. I understand a woman's right to choose. But I think there needs to be greater emphasis on not getting pregnant in the first place. Abortion is not contraception. Killing a child at 9 months, I'm sorry, I have an issue with that. A child's born and then you want to terminate the life within 28 days after the baby is breathing on its own? Come on. Seriously? We have got to address this. We have got to address the issue about killing ourselves, and especially killing children, future generations. And it's going to be a difficult conversation to have. It's going to be a horrible conversation to have, but it needs to be done. It has to be addressed. And we're all in different places with it. But the A's have said conclusively that any race that terminates its children for a period of 120 years, that civilization does not continue to exist. It implodes and it takes itself out because life becomes so cheap, we disregard life altogether. We have to address it because it's a reflection of us. Okay, this isn't separated from humanity. This is a reflection of us. I don't know the answer. I have my own opinions. But it's a conversation we're going to have to deal with. There is no getting around it. And you better know this, they're all watching it. They're all watching it. Will we take responsibility for ourselves? It's all part of growing up. It's all part of becoming a responsible race. Because what we do here, we will take with us. If we build walls here, we're going to take those same walls out there and build them out there. And that's not going to fly. That is not going to fly. So, we've got a very, very interesting dark night of the soul coming to humanity. We do. We're going to have to look at all these things. We're going to have to confront them. We're going to have to talk about it. And at some point, after we've moved through the anger and the pain, we're going to have to go into forgiveness so we can move forward as a race. But we have to fill that void. We're the ones that have to do this. And we can do it. We can do it. We're going to have to move past the judgment and move into forgiveness so we can move forward. We're not the first race to do this. Other races have had very similar challenges. Maybe not in third density, but in other dimensions they've had different scenarios, different situations, but they've all had to confront themselves and come to terms with the past and move into a space of forgiveness so they can move forward. This is where the mentoring comes in. But we have to move to a place of authenticity with all of it.
We know that galactics don't deal with the concept of time. If we are to break the constraints of the 3D matrix, what have the A's shared with you about the 3D matrix of time? do you have any insight of the understanding of the time matrix here on Earth and in 3D?
The construct of time in third density is something that is created in order to control. Now, many people would say that the Hebrew calendar is the most accurate, and that says that this is the year 54 something. That isn't accurate either. Okay, that's not accurate either. There is hundreds of thousands of years prior to the Hebrew calendar of history, of civilizations that has been suppressed and hidden from us. All off-world civilizations approach time in a completely different manner. But let's just take the physical body. Let's just do something really simple for the benefit of everyone. And I know we've talked about this, but I'll see if I can go a little bit deeper in this. We have ancestors on this planet who were us, who were Terrans, who lived hundreds and hundreds of years. A good 20 to 30% of them lived well over 500 years. And then there was probably 4 to 5 to 6% that lived into the 700s, 800 years of age. Now, if you age, if you're taught that your body ages when every cell in your body renews, and let's say that's 7 to 12 years, that would be 1 year. Okay? That would count as one age cycle. That's 7 to 12 years. If you were to take your age now and divide that, you'd be a young whippersnapper still. We all would. But by teaching us that every time our planet rotated around a star, that was one cycle. Now, that cycle is very short. So the message is that I am aging quicker and quicker and quicker. Now, the moment you believe that, you tell your body it is aging quicker, quicker, and quicker. And what does the body do? It responds to the commands of your mind. There are many, many people on this planet who are well over 100 years of age. We don't hear a lot about it, but there are. And they pay absolutely no attention to those belief systems regarding our aging process. They get up in the morning, they live a full day, they are grateful for the day, and when they lay down and put their pillow, they thank whatever power that they believe to be in existence for a remarkable day and how full it was. And then in the next morning when they wake up, they start the whole thing again with appreciation and gratitude. And that's how they live their life. Hello? Okay. So is with gratitude. And, that's not something we're ever taught in Western civilizations, ever. We're not taught that. Or we haven't been. New Age thought, some of it is very valid and helpful now. But, whatever the conditioning is, whatever we're being told and we believe is what we construct and for our reality. You remember Visayas? Visayas said it didn't matter what you believed in as long as you knew why you believed it. And that is an incredibly powerful truth because most of us run around with all these belief systems that weren't ours. They belong to our parents or to our adult mentors, and it belonged to their mentors, their parents, etc. And these belief systems have been handed down generation after generation, like our history, and there hasn't been a lot of truth to it at all. At all. And many of us are putting the brakes on all these belief systems, and we're like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, um, so cancer is not stress, it's a parasite. That's the belief system now. Um, there may be a profound truth to that. But that means is that everybody prior to us taking that position and looking at this particular disease in a completely different way, through a completely different lens, and approaching it from a more holistic, detoxing perspective, as opposed to chemicals, chemicals, and chemicals that were created to never cure anything. Okay, these chemicals were all made to put money in the pockets of the pharmaceutical company, not to cure, because why would they want to cure anything? There's no money in it for them. But of course, we were taught a different belief system around that. You have to take these things and eventually you'll get better. Well, and then the side effects from this create side effects to that, side effects to that create side effects to this. And you start off with one drug, now you're doing 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. And you feel like shit. Again, why do we believe the things we believe? Everything has to be questioned. Everything. Which is why I've been sharing with you that at some point, humanity is going to have to completely restart and rebuild itself from the ground up. It's just going to happen. It could happen in stages, but every belief structure we have at this particular point is going to be thoroughly tested, and we are going to know whether it was true or not. And that which is not true gets thrown away. No sentimentality, we just throw it away. It's gone. And then we begin to test the things that we do believe are true. And we continue to test them and continue to test them. We teach future generations to continue to test them because we want the law of consistency to be a part of the consciousness of the human race. And that means evolving on a heart path and in a path that is real. That's absolutely real. So every future generation remains true to itself. That's why we're forefathers and foremothers now. Because that task falls to us. And it'll fall to the generation just behind us when we cross over, at some point. whatever that looks like, whether it's third, fourth, or fifth. No physical body of any type lives forever. It don't. Okay? Physicality wears out. The soul does not, because the soul is pure energy. But the soul can choose another physical life form. But physical life forms don't last forever. None of them do. So there's no point clinging to it. The most important part of any of this is you. It's the soul. That's the most important part. That's the part that's flipping around in dream state. That's the part that's jumping dimensions. That's the part that can time travel. That's the part of you that can go through portals. That's the part of you that creates miracles. That's the part of you that always has your knowledge, your history, and has a complete inventory of all that you are. That's the soul. That's the most important part. And if we operate from that space, if we operate from the soul, we will always walk the path of heart. It doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.